I'm actively gaining weight on your scale.
No, I think.
So we're having technical difficulties, and Randy is now adjusting the scale. If I weigh more after he's done, this is why. Okay? Because he just did something to the scale and added weight to it. If I weigh less, he made it reveal the truth.
I balanced the feet. The feet were uneven.
We're not listening to that, okay? What I'm saying is, it also calls into question last week that you may have noticed has been deleted. So we're going to say it never happened. Last week, there's a vicious allegation that I gained weight from last week. I don't really know what you're talking about because there's no video, and as we all know, no video didn't happen.
Didn't happen. $212 even. One more time. $211.6.
Oh, God. This is gonna lead to a phone call with the company. I can see it. He's getting his beard hair is just straightened out a little bit. He's getting angry, and I'm making it worse because I'm laughing. Laughing is ab work.
It is some lab work, actually.
And yes, I think we should show not all of this, obviously, do the whatever, but clearly. But I think this is a great segment. This is fun. Hot tech. Also, the other strategy I'm going to use today is if it says 211 and 212, that makes it a multiple choice question. And I'm going to pick the one I like.
There you go.
That's it. That's how that goes. Oh, boy.
Okay.
It is a little bit after 6 o'clock in the morning, and I might be a little bit giddy. It's as giddy as a grown man should ever get.
$11.6.
We do it again.
It's twice as $211.6. I don't know.
Okay, we'll go with that. So 211.6, which means I went back to where I was. That was hilarious. Please don't cut all of this out. I mean, like, cut out the something. There's actually 2 little tricks. I have not used either one of these. Okay, in any of our ways. I know them, but I haven't used any of them. One is, you rock. Okay, so you know that one, yeah. So if you're weighing in for an event, let's say you're trying to make a weight class, you can rock, right? And you might want to try this out on a scale before you go up there and do all the whatever, because they're gonna know what you're doing. But anyway, well, you rock, and you're gonna weigh less one way or the other. I think it's backwards. If you shift your weight back a little bit, sometimes you weigh less. I think.
Yeah, I don't remember which way it is.
But anyway, but just rock and you'll see. And I don't mean like lifting your feet up. I mean like you shift your weight forward and back, you end up weighing a little bit less one way or the other. I didn't do that on purpose, but I thought that's what was happening.
It's kind of like this, either forward,
yeah,
or back.
And I thought that's what was happening. I said, well, am I rocking back and forth without meaning to? So then when you adjusted the feet, I said, oh, okay, I probably was rocking back and forth. All right, that's one. And the greatest part is you guys couldn't see, but I weighed. When I stood on there, it went to 211, and I looked at him and I did like that, and put my hands down. It went to 212, and that's when the beard hair straightened out. Like he was hot. Oh, he was bad. But anyway, then the other trick, again, I haven't done this at all, is you stand on your head. This one's just extra. I don't know why this one works, but you stand on your head and for as long as you can, and then go away like as quickly as you can. So if you're over, I promise you it works. So if you're over, and they're like, hey, you got so much time to make weight or whatever, if you're over by just a couple ounces or whatever, this isn't gonna take 5 pounds off you. It just isn't. Okay, go in the bathroom, stand on your head for as long as you can, drop down, and immediately go back on the scale. and you'll weigh a little bit less. The last one has to do with water cuts, and I'm not going to tell you that because I think, for one thing, in my opinion, if you do it wrong, it's dangerous because you're manipulating your sodium, and I it can trigger. It causes your body to have reactions, and I think my son. I had a son who tried. He's getting ready for a hydration test for high school wrestling, and he didn't do anything bad. He just loaded himself up with water, and then his body. He started peeing, and anyway, it triggered his diet. Apparently, he's type 1 diabetic, but nobody knew it. And it was after this event they said that what he did triggered his body to display it, right? So it's not necessarily a bad thing that we found out that he's type 1 diabetic, but it was latent, and so it could have stayed in his system. Just to put in perspective, he wanted to join the military. He wanted to do all these different things, and had he not done anything crazy, who knows how long he might have waited to manifest itself. So I just say, if you can avoid doing stuff like that, avoid doing stuff like that.
And I actually know a female bodybuilder that hurt herself pretty bad long term.
You can cramp up. You can do all the
water cuts.
So I'm like, don't do it because you have to know how to hydrate yourself. You have to know how to rehydrate. And yes, I know some tricks and stuff, some things that people have taught me, and I'm not an expert at it. And so I'm not going to tell you about water cuts. I just say, if you don't have to specifically, if you absolutely positively don't have to do it, not if you just want to do it because you want to be in a different weight class. I'm saying if you absolutely positively, there's a valid reason, like there's money on the line or something like that. And even then, it's the amount of money. But if there's money on the line, then yeah. But if not, I'm like, just stay away from water cuts. But the other two things I said, standing on your head and rocking on the scale, obviously, use the restroom before you get on the scale. Those things will all help you. But I haven't done any of those tricks. The only thing most I can say is I typically, between my Saturday night workout and my Friday night workout and my Saturday morning weigh-in, I don't eat. If I have anything, I'll have some aminos, so BCAAs. There's one formula, I guess I can say the name, Juiced Aminos by Animal. I've looked, and I don't see any calories on the thing, so I'm assuming on the container. So I'm assuming it's one of those low calorie, no calorie deals.
Right.
And so if I absolutely just feel like I have to have something after the workout, because of the anabolic window, then I'll drink some of those. But other than that, I don't eat anything. And I drink very little water. Once the workout's done, I'm done drinking water and I'm done eating until I weigh in with you. And then, watch this smooth segue into something we were talking about before the camera turned on. I go home and I eat whatever my mom cooked or my wife cooked. What Randy and I were talking about before the video started is you have relatives. People always talk about when you go on a weight loss journey or a body transformation journey, your family doesn't necessarily want to support you. So if you're trying to gain weight, they love that. You're like, I'm trying to put on weight. They start feeding you all kinds of weird stuff, right? Oh, you need to eat this. And you're like, well, I'm trying to actually put on muscle, not whatever. So that's your cross to bear. I don't know how to help you navigate that. But the other way, when you're trying to lose fat, a lot of times your family doesn't understand. And they can take it personally, especially you go see, Aunt Louise, who doesn't know anything about your weight loss journey. And all she cares about is the fact that she slaved over a stove cooking for you, now you won't eat it. So what I recommend is two things. One is something that Randy talked about in a previous video where you talked about bracketing. Not a previous video with me. It's a previous video on his channel. You talked about preparing for a holiday weekend where you increase your activity, and you and I both talked about bracketing, something like that with exercise. So you exercise before, you exercise after. All right. So that's one thing. The other thing and this is what I did with my mom and my wife, is I let them know that Saturday morning is the day that I'm the most relaxed with my food. Because I just weighed in. I got 7 days to fix whatever damage I do today. And so I asked them to help make this day special by making something that I know I'm going to enjoy. So now, instead of telling them, I'm not eating your food, I can't eat your food, which in a way is telling them their food's bad. And I don't mean bad tasting. I mean, you're actually making a value judgment on their food. That's how they're going to read it. Instead, you're telling them that their food is so valuable to you that you want to use it to celebrate.
Right.
that's a big deal. It's like asking them, to me, it's no different than saying, hey, my birthday's coming up, will you make this for me?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so every 7 days, I get to celebrate with my mom's food and my wife's food. So that's a really good thing. And psychologically, it makes me not feel bad about what I'm doing.
Right.
You know, for myself, because you feel selfish.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
you get to enjoy food. You get to think that life is normal. It's a sanity thing. You know, it's not. I'm going to be so focused on this that I'm never going to do anything out of my weekly plan. This is what I'm going to do every day for the rest of my life. You plan for those things. Yours is every Saturday. You don't have to do it every week. You could do it every 2 weeks or whatever you're most comfortable with. And actually, and I need to find the research, but the research, a couple of studies show that depending on your body fat level and some other things, that every 6 to 15 days you should take a free day, basically. And I'll have to go and find that research. But it is there. You can find it yourself if you're not interested. Yeah. But I'll look for it.
That actually goes with what was it, diet? Was it the Warrior Diet a few years ago? I remember they're talking about you basically, it was on T Nation, and they were talking about how our bodies are designed. Our bodies are designed to thrive on a feast-famine cycle, because we would go through periods of time historically where you have, and I mean just every year. I don't mean like there's a famine 1 year. I mean like every year you're going to go through periods of scarcity. Mm-hmm. And there's also going to be, even, you know, setting aside the fact that sometimes the crops just don't come in or whatever, you also have the seasonal changes where certain foods that might be more available in the wintertime tend to pack more calories on you with fewer servings of it than foods that might be naturally more available in the summertime, right? In the springtime. And so your body has adapted. God designed your body to work this way so that you're not supposed to have the same amount of food all of the time. It's actually better for you to cycle through it, which is also part of the reason why fasting is so good for you, because it gives your body a break from, well, chewing, and also from having to process food constantly. Mm-hmm. So that's like people always talk about detoxing. Fasting is probably the best detox. Just don't eat. Let your liver work. Mm-hmm. And then, you know, drink water. Don't kill yourself. Okay, I need to say that. So if you go on a 1 day fast, if you go on a 1 day fast, you can go without anything. But I would say drink water to help you with the cravings, 1 or 2 day fast, and then, you know, go back to it. Don't worry about the fact that you're not going to have energy if you're training for a competition. I'll say that this is something I do have planned for the future, and that's to start fasting at least 1 day a week, maybe fasting during my deload weeks or whatever, because you'll find after the first 2 days or so, the cravings go away, and all of a sudden you have a ton of energy, because part of the energy your body's using to digest food is now available for you to use to accomplish tasks. Mm-hmm. And then eventually you'll start to find that, you know, you're running through your stored calories and you need to, you know, refeed yourself. But anyway, so those are my tips. I'm 211, and I am at the point where I don't think I need to cut calories anymore. For one thing, I have a competition coming up, and I need to be able to maintain my strength. And number two, I don't want to start eating into my muscle. Mm-hmm. So what I'm going to try to do is increase activity level. Mm-hmm. That's all I did between last week and this week. The Phantom episode, that didn't really happen because it showed me gaining weight. And I was 211 2 weeks ago. Last week I was allegedly 212, and now I'm 211 again. All right. So anyway, all I did between last week and this week is I just increased my activity level. And so I'm going to just try to increase it a little bit more. Not anything crazy, but just a little bit more. That's it.
Sounds good.
All right.
Congratulations. Good job.
Thank you.